We're back live with the news magazine show that you need, featuring the news and views of one big bad wolf, Mr. Ryder. That's why it's called Ryder's Rasslin Review. I'm Jack Kilby, no gimmicks guy on the socials. There's a whole ton of stuff to talk about, but before we get into all of that, Mr. Ryder, you'll note in the promo for this show, I got some photographs of you in the ring with the Giant Silva. Can you tell the fans what that match was like? How did you get a good match out of, no disrespect to him, but how did you get a good match out of him?
That's my second match there. That was, 1998? I have fun working the big guys. I always did. I'm not going to compare myself to Shawn Michaels, but I'm Shawn Michaels-esque. But I get the big guys, and I can do things with them I can't do with like a Low Key or a Brian Daniels. So I just had fun out there. He was actually a very nice guy, Giant. So he listened, did everything I told him to do. He was funny in the ring. He was a good guy, man. And little Bruno, Harvey Whippleman, he translated the whole match for the guy. We're doing margaritas today, by the way. Excellent choice on a hot day.
Why do you think after that Oddities run that they didn't find a spot for him there, because he was a giant after all, and the Fed loved to have those big men around, and it was still the era of big men.
He traveled around with his entire family, which was becoming a problem. I mean, he literally had his wife and his kids, his uncle. He had like 20 people with him. And
oh, we seem to have lost Mr. Ryder. He's a busy. Oh, you're back. Okay.
It never stops. He traveled with 20 people, his uncle, his aunt, his mother, his brother, and that was the downfall of Giant Silva. My understanding is he went back to, was he from Peru or something? I think he was from Peru. He went back there.
I think Peru.
He's a god there in Peru. I knew Harvey Whippleman and him were very close. But I don't know whatever happened to Giant Silva. Never heard from him, never heard or saw him again.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was certainly an entertaining character for sure. Had some personality for a big guy too, like you said. But let's get right into the story that everybody seems to be talking about this week. And no, it's not Here Comes the Zane, the beater of worlds. It is Chris Jericho. They are saying heavily on the news sites that Jericho is looking to go back to WWE. When he liked an Instagram post that suggested that in 2026. I'll read you the quote that Dave Meltzer said. Chris Jericho is actually a really big story. His contract is up at the end of the year or late in the year, and there's certainly been lots and lots of talk about WWE. I know from a WWE standpoint, there's lots of talk about Jericho. People speculating Royal Rumble. Nobody has officially said anything, nor will anyone officially say anything. It would seem to me that Jericho's done all that he can do in AEW, and it would be time would be now for him to return. What say you?
I think I said he was going to go back last year. I don't think he would come back in the Rumble though. That would be more of a nostalgia act. I think he would come back out of the blue with the countdown. I don't think they'd put him in the Rumble. I think it would hurt him to go into the Rumble. You'd hear the countdown, but it would fizzle quick.
Mm-hmm. Do you see it happening in 2026 for sure?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. There'd be no other reason. He's 100% going back.
Now,
one more run, and he'll change his gimmick again. The guy's a chameleon. He changes his gimmick all the time. And he'll think of something else that's hilarious, and he'll get back over again, and it'll be entertaining. He's one of a kind.
Yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Famer, and this, of course, would be a prelude to that. But what do you think about some of the creative that has surrounded him in AEW the past few years? They seem to be really pushing. I wouldn't say pushing the limits, but stretching his presentation a lot, which seems to have garnered some heat from AEW fans and of course the ever present internet marks that some of his stuff was ridiculous. What do you think of his AEW run the last few years?
Internet's turning on Jericho now because they don't. I think he's been fantastic. I think he's used as in the perfect position to get younger guys over. He always develops a new character. I think the learning tree was funny. It was an inside joke that just got over a little bit. They kept going with it. I don't think he'll take the learning tree to WWE with him though.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody's getting mad at him for what? He's 50-something years old. Be glad he's around. You'll miss him when he's gone.
Well, that's a good point, because people are saying, "Oh, he's lost a step, and his lion salt doesn't look as crisp." He's 54 years old. I mean, I think he could still work passably. That won't be a problem.
Who are these people to say this insane things? Who sits there and is worried about what a 50-year-old man does in the wrestling ring? Oh my God. Shawn Michaels isn't as good as he once was either. I hate to break it to everybody. There's Ric Flair, Blake, me, any of us.
Well, speaking of ageism, the other big story this week has been the deal with Triple H. I guess he was on vacation in Europe somewhere hot anyway, and was out swimming with his family, and some of the marks were getting on top of him for not looking like the game 2004. Did you catch any of that? Right down to the criticism that he was wearing old swim trunks from 20 years ago. I hate to say it, but I have a couple of those pairs too.
The old swim trunks, I popped that. That was hilarious. And the best was they showed proof that they are the same exact trunk. Good for him. And he's worth $50 million. I don't know what these people have. No shame, right? Like what? Because he's not ready for a bodybuilding competition. Well, I want to see the people shaming him go stand next to Triple H on the beach and see what they look like. He's about 55. A few years old.
I think he's 56. I think he's 56. Yeah.
Got a freaking pacemaker, for God's sake, and you're worried about whether or not he's got a 12-pack. Doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, works out every day, got a heart condition, and you're good. And the heart medication he takes also puts weight on you. You know, so,
but he's not fat. That's the thing. He's not fat.
He's still huge. He gets in the gym, gets a pump. He's going to be gigantic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting that they seem to have seized upon that. And I've read also some interesting comments from a certain segment that indicate, well, now men know what women go through in terms of body shaming. What do you make of this whole phenomenon? I know we've talked about it here before in connection to OnlyFans proprietors, so to speak. But isn't this whole body shaming thing a real red herring when it comes to wrestling?
It's the most childish thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, I was looking, and you guys posted this picture of me earlier with Silva, and there was a picture of me on, I guess it was Jacked or Metal. And I was like 25 years old. I'm like, wow, I was in pretty good shape as a kid. I'm like, I'm big now. I think I'd rather be that guy again. I get big feet in the air. I get all kinds of crazy shit. You know, we're harder on ourselves than any fan will ever be on us. But you know, we still put on a pair of spandex and get in the ring like assholes. So I don't pay attention to these people. If they can't bench press 350 pounds, they got no reason to talk to me. Yeah,
and that's the ironic part that you pointed out. How many of these folks even go to the gym at all, right?
They don't do anything. Anything they can do to make themselves feel better, right? Because they're so perfect.
Yeah, I thought that.
You can easily bench press 350.
Sorry, you cut out there for a sec. Resend.
You can easily bench press 350. They don't know you're a monster. You don't look at it, but you're a gigantic human being. I think you and I were the biggest guy in the TWA show.
Yeah, I mean, like you, in my prime, I was about 285 at 6'3", but I'm down to a svelte 265. But I don't think people like us that have power lifted and spent a lifetime in the gym, I don't think it would be people like us that would be going, oh, look at Triple H. He doesn't, look like the game of 2004 anymore. I mean, it's always the ones that seem to be like you put the nail, hit the nail on the head. It always seems to be the ones that are the most unathletic and miserable in their own lives. Instead of criticizing him, maybe join that Planet Fitness gimmick and get in there yourself.
Exactly. Strive to look like him. Exactly.
Which we'll talk about this one too. I was going to talk about it a little later on, but I really am becoming a bigger fan of Drew McIntyre by the day.
He might be the greatest of all time.
He's an awesome troll. He must have somebody's blessing to be saying what he's saying. Otherwise, or he's just untouchable.
Oh, he's definitely untouchable.
But he spoke again. Remember when he said 85% of the current roster doesn't look like a wrestler?
He's 100% correct.
He clarified that, though. He said on a recent podcast, again, I don't know why it was so controversial. The 85%, maybe I'm a little off. Maybe it's like 82%. They shouldn't be WWE superstars. And no, I don't just mean that. You don't have to be big and jacked. You have to look like an athlete. And he goes on and he says, basically, he goes, we have so many superstars and it sucks because it took me a long time to think that I'd found myself and know who I was. Get in the gym. You've got all the free time in the world. You get a bunch of money. Now everybody makes money. Now you got no freaking excuse for sitting on your couch eating pizza.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
He's eating the burger, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I love him to death. Let him keep doing his thing. I gotta tell you, I think when he leaves WWE, he'll be a bigger star than Rock. When he finally goes to Hollywood, he's going to make a killing. He is a fucking riot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he's not Hollywood already.
Yeah, exactly. He seems to be multifaceted in terms of character, and he's great on the mic, and he looks like a superstar. I think it's interesting because he's sort of the Undertaker opened the door there by expressing frustration with younger talent who are more concerned about their online presence than learning the craft from seasoned vets. And I think that criticism that some are not only small, but also look like they don't work out whatsoever. Not to point anybody out, but here comes the Zayn again, dominating Brock Lesnar. Like a prime example of a guy who's pushed, who just does not look like a superstar, in my opinion.
It's sick. Even Jake Roberts, who was not a big gym guy, was 6'4". You know what I mean? And 260. And he was the guy. He wasn't in great shape, but the son of a bitch could work. He's probably one of the best workers up there. These guys, they get their 2-year bachelor degree at the Performance Center and Sports Entertainment. They all wrestle exactly the same. They all think exactly the same. They're all making a minimum of $300,000 a year, and now they're spoiled. So why would you work out? Do you have to?
If you have pride.
Well, if you have pride, but they don't have any pride because that's why they go to a 2-year career college in freaking Orlando to learn how to wrestle. Back in my day, there was no such thing. If you got lucky, you got invited to Dory Funk's training camp, which had 6 people in it, or you got sent to OVW. If you were lucky. Otherwise, you were driving around town to town, learning your craft on the independents, wrestling in fire halls and high schools, and you get lucky, you get to the main event, you'd wrestle all the WWE guys. And if you made the right impression, they'd bring you up. Now, you just show up.
Oh, we had a blackout phenomenon here. He'll be back. I agree 100%. I wanted to ask you, though, how much do you blame Ring of Honor for this and the super indie phenomenon, for making it acceptable and not to pick on a lot of the Ring of Honor guys, but Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens came out of there. He for the most part wrestled in a shirt, and then there was a time when it was inconceivable that a guy would be up on the main roster wrestling in a t-shirt. Is that Ring of Honor and the Super Indies' fault?
Can you hear me? There we go. Well, first off, it's Jim Kettner's fault from ECWA for starting the Super 8 tournament. But he didn't actually invent the Super 8 tournament. That was invented by Mike Moraldo, a.k.a. Starling, that came up with the Super 8 tournament. So he's the one that ruined wrestling. So we're going to blame Mike Moraldo for all of this because he invented the damn Super 8 tournament, and Jim Kettner thought it was a great idea. That led into the rise of the Chris Daniels, who's a tremendous worker, the Low Keys, the Brian Daniels, who's a tremendous worker, as is Low Key, and the rest of them, the Jaguars and guys like that who never worked out. And then that's when Ring of Honor was born. That's where that style came from. And then Ring of Honor, it just expedited the downfall of professional wrestling to the little guys because the big guys don't want to do that. They don't want to move like that. Very few guys my size can do that.
Except
Hernandez
you.
can do it. I can do it. Yeah, me, Hernandez, and a few other guys. But Doug Basham can move like that. There wasn't many guys built like that, or over 6'1" that could do that. So that's where it all started. It was Super 8, thanks to Mike Moraldo.
Well, it certainly is a different mindset for the cosmetic aspect of it. I mean, and some people blame, it was the steroid era, it was this, it was that, but it seems to me that fundamental principle that we've talked about, that Vince McMahon posited all the time about the airport test, you've got to, in order to be a superstar, turn heads when you're in an airport, and if you don't, you look like the average person. It's not superstar material, but maybe that's an outmoded concept.
You're not wrong. I'm going in and out here on you. I'm sorry.
You're black, but I still hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm going in and out. I'm getting blown up here all over the place. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Just can't see you.
So,
now I can't hear you at all. We'll have to get Mr. Ryder's comment on that when he comes back, but I'll talk about another story that is really repetitive in its nature, and that would be the issues with Bret Hart making comments online repeatedly, seemingly very critical, and getting criticized or called out by former ECW superstar Big Vito with respect to his constant complaining, as he states, or bitching. Kevin Nash recently weighed in about Bret Hart and his situation, where he said at SummerSlam he wasn't given a seat at SummerSlam, which caused some people to raise their eyebrows, because he alluded to WWE giving preferential treatment to the Clique, which is, of course, one of Triple H's closest allies, Kevin Nash in particular, being centered out. He said, "I didn't go to the show because I didn't have a seat. I guess my name got brought up. It would be, Triple H's buddy got a effing seat." So Nash said that he did not attend the show at all because he had a signing, and he called Bret and corrected him by saying, "I stopped going after they put me in a fucking box and the monitor in the box didn't work." He also, this is funny, rejected the idea of watching a show with no announcing, as well as being unable to fast forward the show. And then shortly thereafter, as I mentioned, Big Vito took it upon himself to call out Bret for his constant bitching and bitterness, as he called it, because you'll remember he, of course, recently made remarks about Bill Goldberg and also Gunther and the use of chops. So Bret's been on a run lately of having a lot of negative things to say about others, and we're not sure what's happening with Bret. Hopefully he's okay, but he's definitely coming across as a bitter person. Next, keeping in the Hart family theme, Natalia had some interesting remarks about it being harder to be a Hart than a Flair or a Rhodes in WWE. Oh, you're back.
my internet went down. So I don't know what the heck happened.
Oh man, no problem. This is live, so we have these technical issues. I just wanted to get your thoughts. I just recapped. Kevin Nash responded to Bret Hart's comments about being denied a seat at SummerSlam. He alluded to the fact that Kevin would have had one because he was Triple H's buddy. And then I don't know if you saw, but Big Vito weighed in and called out Bret for the constant bitching and complaining. Bret has really lit up the headlines the last few months. What do you think's going on with the Hitman?
He's an angry. I don't know what he's so angry about. He's really hates Triple H. And I would bet it all goes back to the Montreal screw job, which I still say is a work. But if it's not a work, that's why he hates him. But Kevin Nash wasn't even there. Right? So why are you saying Kevin Nash got a seat? He wasn't even there. And Kevin Nash said the same thing. He's having trouble getting seats there too anyway because UFC owns it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was confirmed to me by Steve Carino because I was going to go to WrestleMania and I always get a ticket if I want one. And I couldn't even get one this year because of all the red tape. You got to go through an app and all this stuff. I couldn't even get it. I'm getting a compliment. So what's Bret Hart bitching about? You got millions of dollars. You're a national hero in Canada. And now you're like 65 years old. Shut up. Disappointed in him. Maybe mad about his brother. I'm just a lot of tragedy in the guy's life.
Well, that's what Big Vito said. He said all the bitching and whining is, making. Well, obviously Bret didn't do his research in this area, but it's making it's drawing disrepute on the business in general. So I thought kudos to. I'm a big Bret Hart fan, but kudos to Vito for speaking out. I don't know if he's responded yet, but it's a bad look.
Vito's my boy. Vito's a good guy. Vito lived right down the road for me for by 8 years, and I never knew it.
Oh, wow.
We had no idea. We lived right around the corner from each other.
Did you ever face him in the ring?
I've never wrestled Vito. Never wrestled.
That would be a good match.
I met him. First time I met him was at Meadowlands when he was a Skull Von Crush. Always got along well with him. And I bumped into him at the gym by my house one day. I said, "What are you doing here?" I live right in Coatesville. Oh,
amazing.
Good guy.
Yeah, I met him several times, including Hardcore Road Trip in London, Ontario. He's good friends with my other broadcast partner, Angel Medina, Kingpin, being part of the Baldy stable. So yeah, nothing but love for Vito. Now, another Hart-related story. Natalia said and this is a no-brainer, it's harder to be a Hart than a Flair or a Rhodes in WWE. He said, or she said, in talking about the notion of royal families in wrestling, Cody Rhodes is often brought up. And then, of course, you've got the Flair family. And she said, being related to the Harts hasn't helped her career as much as other second-generation wrestlers have. And she says, when your uncle punches out the boss, the Hart family, I'm pretty sure we got banned from coming backstage in WWE a long time ago, she claimed during an appearance on Busted Open. That was the most controversial thing I think that ever happened in the WWF at that time. She further said that the conflict between Bret and McMahon, and said that not even Flair or Cody, they can't touch that because they were on better terms with McMahon. She's saying, I'm not saying it's always perfect and it's always smooth, but with my family, a lot of crazy stuff that happened. And with Bret's continued comments, you can't see that as getting any better, can you? Do you think it's a valid point?
I could probably see her point there, but she's the longest tenured woman there. So has she had a bad career? Well, she's not Charlotte Flair. You know why? Because Charlotte Flair is more entertaining than Natalya. Natalia's a great wrestler, but she's not Bret Hart. She got better looking though. She gets older. She's like reverse aging. She's obscenely good looking, Natalya, but she's not as good as Charlotte Flair.
No,
so that's
no, I think that she's probably true in some respects, but again, you make a great point that I put in my notes. She hasn't had a bad career and she's still employed. So,
right, she's the longest career of anybody there is, and she's got who's been there longer than her? Undertaker?
Probably. That's about it.
Yeah, they've been there longer. She's got to be making $4,000 a year plus whatever else, so she's doing all right. But you can't compare yourself to Charlotte Flair because she's more entertaining. She's a better talker, more entertaining.
And I would say a better athlete overall. I wanted to get your thoughts on, because I know we both watched this, but Triple Mania, excuse me, history has been made. Finn Balor, Ireland's own, the pride of the Emerald Isle, made history by being only the second wrestler in history to have competed at 4 of wrestling's biggest events: WrestleMania, NJPW Wrestle Kingdom, CMLL Anniversario, and Triple Mania. He also had that interesting spot with the demon puppet that's on sale for now $100 with what's his name, Mr. Iguana. Is that the deal? What did you think of that?
I got to give Finn Balor credit, and he got saddled with the worst gimmick in the world with the Balor Club thing. He has made a complete 180. He's won me over. I thought the puppet was hilarious, and I got to give me. I know you don't like him. I thought Mr. Iguana was a riot. He sold that like a freaking champ. That was just a very entertaining. They hit it out of the park with that pay-per-view. That was better than WrestleMania. Like, I don't know everything.
I agree.
Entertaining things I've watched in wrestling in 10 years. That was tremendous. And my understanding was Undertaker was one of the producers on that. So Undertaker's had a big hand in AAA. That was a great show from start to finish. Every match was good, and they weren't like AEW. They're diving on there. These guys weren't even trying to kill themselves. They were just entertaining the people, and it was very good. Finn Balor's good. I love this guy. He's going to be one of the greatest of all time.
100%. There's a guy, speaking of smaller guys, that's small, but has he ever had less than 3% body fat and look like an athlete? I don't think so. Not from his Prince Devitt career up until now.
Are you talking about, we talking about Dominic, or are we talking about, you're talking about Balor? Balor's in great shape.
Yeah.
Great shape. I don't know what he weighs. He can't weigh 170 pounds.
I think he's billed at about 180, give or take.
He's in great shape. He's a great athlete. He's got a good look. He's got a good smile. I think he's a genuinely good guy. The whole Balor Club thing almost took his career down. I don't know why they did that to him, but he's doing remarkable with his new gimmick.
And you continue to be a big booster of Dominic Mysterio, a guy that probably could spend a little more time in the gym. That's fair, don't you think? Oh, we lost Mr. Ryder briefly, hopefully. Mr. Ryder is a huge fan of Dominic Mysterio, and in terms of character work, I 100% agree that he does great work. But the look, again, do you think that's overblown on my part, Mr. Ryder?
I think so. I think for him it is. I think that the character is so ridiculous that he was in prison and now it's just hilarious. The mullet, if he was a jacked up bodybuilder, he wouldn't be as funny. Now, at some point in time, should he leave and come back muscular? Yes. But his father was actually in pretty good shape. He's 5'1", but he's one of the most entertaining guys up there, and he's getting better in the ring, Dominic. But keep in mind, he's a 10-year veteran.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's been doing this since he was like 9 years old or 10 years old. So.
Mm-hmm.
Might grow into his own. We'll see. But he's very entertaining, and I would assume they're going to put the AAA title on him.
Yeah, that would be a good move, especially like you pointed out, Rey Mysterio. As soon as he discovered the vitamin B12 in the Florida water, he looked jacked for a little guy. So Who knows? Maybe that'll happen.
We found that in ECW Arena, I believe, is my understanding. It's laying on the floor.
There wasn't any B12 or Florida water there. Now you'll have to ask Doug Gilbert what he had there, but there was no Florida water. That's for sure. On May the 3rd.
Oh boy, are we going to see him again? Yes, good old Doug Gilbert.
God bless him. Interestingly, this is another story that we've been talking about, and that's Alberto Del Rio. I guess Triple H's Instagram got flooded with calls to have Alberto Del Rio brought back. We want Alberto. Another one saying, we want him back, please. Another one saying, after they're trying to obviously push that little guy Velkingo as the real deal, they said, we want him back. He's the real champ. I just don't get this. He's over, and whatever politics or whatever are holding him back. I mean, come on, let's give him a run. Don't you think, or do you think it'll happen?
Listen, they always say they forgive everybody. I don't know what he did that he's got so much heat. I have no idea what this man did that got himself so much trouble. I've never heard a bad word about him, except I guess he was on drugs for a while, but so was Road Dogg. So was Shawn Michaels. Every one of them was a freaking crackhead. So, I mean, I don't know what he possibly could have done. I don't know. Didn't Paige say he beat her up or something?
I think there was an incident where there was allegations of mutual abuse or mutual physicality.
I mean, unless that's it, I couldn't see what else it was. I have no idea. It's crazy. The guy looks like $1 million. He can work like nobody's business. He's been a two-time champ.
Yep.
I can't imagine not bringing the guy back, unless he's the one. Listen, maybe he's the one that Hunter's been hinting about. The former world champ is coming back. Maybe that's the one. I think it's Dean Ambrose. It could be Jericho. But maybe it's him. We'll see. But he should be back. Absolutely. And he should have a character. The guy that spoke for him.
You mean that was Dutch Mantel for a while? That didn't work.
That didn't work. The kid that would say Alberto Del Rio. The kid was good.
Oh, yes, Rodriguez. Ricardo Rodriguez. Yeah, Morris interviewed Ricardo on this channel. Great guy. Speaking of which, Morris is doing a cyber run in here. He's in Dublin. I believe it tonight is the SmackDown show, and he said, drunkest crowd ever in Dublin this week, me included. Well, God bless you.
He's drinking Hulk Hogan's beer? Is that what he's got?
No, I would imagine it would be something a little stronger. I think he's a Guinness guy. If I'm, no,
he's a Guinness guy. Too dark.
No, he drinks the hard stuff, I think. But
he's a whiskey guy.
He's a whiskey guy for sure. Oh, here we go. He's also commenting on Jericho, which we talked about. One last run, Hall of Fame, and Fozzy playing at WrestleMania. That would be cool.
That would be cool. That would
concur there. And I know you're probably one of Y2J's biggest fans. A couple of stories about that I found entertaining about Matt Riddle. He's the MLW champion now. And he basically said that he had 2 legit encounters with Goldberg and basically called him a shitty wrestler. And said that he never had to, while he acknowledged Goldberg's financial success and status, he criticized his in-ring ability and argued that he never had to grind his way up through the wrestling business from the bottom as he did. And then he made an offhanded comment that he could whip in a shoot fight, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Quite an interesting individual Riddle is. Have you ever met him?
I've never met Riddle, and I don't know much about the guy, but I know he's a legit tough guy. He's UFC. He's a trained guy. Maybe he can take Roman Reigns, but he has zero chance of taking Brock Lesnar. Zero chance of even hurting Brock Lesnar. So last I checked, Brock was a UFC champion himself, right? So
and a lot bigger.
he's not whooping Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar outweighs him by 150 pounds, for God's sake. He'll kill him. As far as him and Goldberg.
Morris is saying, I think Riddle would beat Goldberg and Reigns, but not Brock.
Well, he could beat Brock. As far as saying Goldberg didn't pay his dues, Goldberg was in the NFL. He paid his dues from the time he was a little kid all the way up to the Atlanta Falcons. That's not easy to do. He took his licks, he took his beat, and he earned that. Then from there, he got his friends from the Cheetah, because I think that's where he was with Eric Bischoff at. They brought him to the powerhouse, and he earned it again there. So he absolutely earned his spot there. He wasn't just some dude off the street that walked into the Performance Center for a tryout and got it. He was a freaking Atlanta Falcon. I think it was a great choice. Yeah.
Not Travis Scott either. He also said that Goldberg is a liability. He's dangerous. Repeating that again. Do you think Goldberg was really dangerous? Is that the Bret Hart thing again coming back?
I've heard that before. You know, guys, I can say the same thing about Nathan Jones, right? I mean, he kicked me in the head, gave me a stroke, for God's sake. So, yeah, you can get hurt pretty bad. I don't think Goldberg was that dangerous. I mean, you're in there to protect yourself. I never really saw him do any moves that would hurt with the spear. If you can't take a spear, if you get hurt taking a spear, that's your fault, not the other guy's fault. He's not really hitting you. He's hitting you and pulling off. So, yes, guys can be stiff, but I don't think Goldberg even threw punches very often, did he?
Not really. It was over before it begun. I guess it would be the spear or the jackhammer, but the jackhammer seems to be a pretty straightforward flat back bump, is it not?
Yeah. I mean, the match was really 3 minutes long. I mean, how much hurt could you possibly get?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Maybe that's the legacy of
I was at Gangrel's wrestling school, CCW, down here a few weeks ago, and we were talking about Bradshaw and how stiff Bradshaw was to work, and we were laughing because I never thought he was that bad, and Gangrel never thought he was that bad, and Gangrel said that's because, and Gangrel partially traded me too a little bit out there. We would beat him to the punch because Bradshaw would like to wind that freaking lariat up and rip your head off. But if you came in at him, he didn't have the room to do it. So he can take it really easy. So that's one of the reasons guys were getting hurt by Goldberg, too. They were letting him get a full head of speed instead of turning into and cutting him off at the pass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all them. They know better.
Running towards him, I think, would cut off some of that. He also said that Randy Orton hit him up recently about he has an OnlyFans account. I think we've mentioned that before. Riddle does. And he said, "You crazy son of a bitch." And he said, "Randy, I'm not going to lie. The money is real." And he goes, "It's probably better on your body too." What do you think about Matt Riddle's OnlyFans? I wouldn't think it's as lucrative as say some of the other female performers that we've talked about.
I don't even want to imagine what he's doing on his OnlyFans account. What is he? What is wrong with these people? Maybe him and Milf Hunter can do a joint OnlyFans together. Milf Hunter can give him some tips.
He certainly could. How is the Milf Hunter, and can we expect him on the program anytime soon?
He's in Canada right now. He's up in your neck of the woods.
Oh, is he again?
You can get him up there live. I think he's in Toronto.
What's he doing up here? Some more promotional work, or
his mother's up there. I think he's visiting the mother.
Nice. Well, we definitely have to talk about having him on the show just for his legacy and his body of work, so to speak. He's got a very interesting story, so we'll hopefully nail that down sometime. Here's something that we talked about a bit earlier, but the Hollywood Reporter officially named Batista the greatest wrestler turned actor, and I'll give you the list and get your thoughts. Second was The Rock. Third was John Cena. Fourth was Roddy Piper. Got a problem with that. Adam Edge Copeland, Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, Big Show, Jesse Ventura, Andre the Giant, Bret Hart never even made the list, damn it. He isn't appreciated. What do you think of that list? Do you think Batista is number one? I mean, good stuff, good character work, etc., but number one?
Kurt Angle gets nothing after his performance in Sharknado. Nothing? Not even an honorable mention? It was Oscar.
No love.
No love. And Cody Rhodes doesn't get mentioned for the Naked Gun. His one scene in The Naked Gun that was hilarious. I think Batista's a hell of an actor. I got to give the guy credit. He is really good. You know, who's made the most money, right? Is that the argument? That would be The Rock.
Yeah, and that wouldn't jive with Batista being number one. But my favorite has always been Roddy Piper. They Live is an absolutely excellent film. Hell Comes to Frogtown, on and on. I think at the end of the day, though, the order doesn't make sense, because you can argue, you know, body of work in terms of number of films, how much money, most artistic acclaim, and I think it's got to be Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, no matter what, in terms of financial returns.
I think they're talking about acting ability, not who made the most money. Acting ability, it's going to be Batista.
What did you think of?
Range and
what did you think of Piper, though? Did you think Piper was playing himself?
I think Piper was tremendous in They Live. It's a cult classic. Thank God they never remade it and ruined it. It's the greatest fight scene in the history of cinema. And if you haven't caught the South Park episode where Timmy and the other kid get in a fight, they actually remade the fight from They Live on South Park with the two handicapped kids, which was tremendous. That's one of the original episodes.
It was also predictive programming in many ways. They Live, wasn't it?
They Live. Was it wrong?
No, nope.
Seems pretty real to now.
Yeah, absolutely. I always will put that in the top 5 of my movies. So I got a soft spot for Piper there. But John Cena made some comments and admits that he failed in his early heel run. He was talking at a fan expo and says he believed he failed the first night he came out in Europe and cut that promo. He said, "I wasn't upset. No, I failed. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You can learn from failure." Went right up there and bombed. Shit happens. When he was asked about the decision to turn heel, he kept coy, saying he would address it after his retirement. He said he doesn't want to spoil anything else about the remainder of his career by accident, even in interviews. Yet we had it all laid out there, almost in that unreal show. That's interesting that he's characterizing it as he's coming right out and saying it was a failure. But then, man, when he made that about face and had the one promo and turned baby face again, no pun intended, that kind of solidified the deal that it was one of the more poorly executed heel turns.
It was a terrible heel turn. The problem was with it, he didn't turn. He stayed exactly the same. And all he did was talk about ruin wrestling, but he never said why. There was no why to the whole thing. He just did it one day. And then The Rock was gone, and then Travis Scott was gone, who should have been gone. But it didn't make a whole lot of sense, and it wasn't going to stick for long. He's definitely not a good heel. He's a better heel if he was the Doctor of Thugonomics. But not as...
He needed...
Look how fast he turned back. You ever seen a faster face turn?
Nuclear fast.
He almost turned Cody Rhodes heel in the fucking thing.
Exactly. He needed to come out as the aging Doctor of Thugonomics and have the brilliant Bull Buchanan with him as his sidekick again. What a guy Bull Buchanan is. Recently interviewed him the last couple of months. He didn't really see what he brought to the table in that package when I asked him about it, but I thought it was great.
What is Bull Buchanan doing these days?
He is running his own highly successful. They just had their recent 1 year anniversary promotion, mostly in Georgia. His son, Brooks Jensen, is in WWE, and his youngest son is going to be a superstar as well. What a nice guy Bull Buchanan is. I'm sure you interacted with him over the time frame you were there.
I believe I met Bull in OVW. I didn't meet him on the main roster. I know I met him at OVW, and I believe he's a very nice guy. I didn't have a lot of interactions with him. Big dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And his bullpen professional wrestling is quite a successful endeavor. So you love to see that for independent wrestling. Morris is saying, "Oh, looks like we're getting Becky Lynch and Sheamus Friday night in dark matches, but not on the show." How did that come to light, Morris? We'd love to hear that. We kind of thought that Sheamus was going to be involved in some kind of title melee there, but seems like it's not to be.
I would think they're going to put him on the show. They're probably just teasing it. There's no way.
Probably.
There's no.
Well, Becky Lynch too. Is she on the Raw brand or SmackDown? I can't even tell anymore.
She's on Raw.
Maybe that might be part of it.
She's on Raw.
Seems like a no-brainer to have those two on the show. My goodness.
You'd have to. They'll be on the show.
We're expecting Morris to provide some updates from the show, talk to the fans that are there. Looking forward to that one. But I saved the best for last, Mr. Ryder. And this would be Mandy Rose. Speaking of OnlyFans, we have to end on a quasi-sexual note. She recently made a statement that she recalled a herpes outbreak in NXT. And she said, she was speaking with her husband and former NXT talent, Tino Savatelli, on the Power Alphas podcast. Haven't heard of that one, but interesting. She said, recalled having to clean the rings early in her WWE career. She said, we had to clean the rings in NXT because there was like a herpes outbreak, guys. I don't even know if everyone knows that one. Several superstars were, quote, forced to clean the ring, not just to keep things hygienic, but also as a sign of humility early into their careers. For Rose, she believes this approach helped keep talent humble, no matter what success they may have had before. Now, I've got to ask you this one because you've competed on so many mats. Have you ever heard of what is not a staph infection, but what is a sexually transmitted disease, herpes? Have you ever heard of that being spread via contact with canvas?
I have not ever heard that. I inquired about this to several people when I heard this. I don't think it was herpes. I think she was joking. Ringworm, however, is constant. You can get that for wrestling ring quick. If they don't clean the mats, you can get that quick. They may have been cleaning that up. She may have just been joking. I have never heard of anyone getting herpes from a wrestling mat in my life. But then again, I've been wrong before. Maybe she got it. How does she know? Maybe she got herpes. I don't know. We'll have to check her out on OnlyFans and see. Oh, now we lost Kilby now. Look at this. Now I'm taking over the show.
No, I'm here.
All right. Well, you can find me, my next movie coming up. Actually, I'll be at a premiere down here for a movie called Broken Bridges in Fort Lauderdale, which is coming out very soon. That's a wrestling movie. More to come on that next week. And then I'll be doing another movie very soon. I can't tell you guys what it is, but that's coming up. As you can see, I'm leaning out a little bit here for it. I'm going to get a little skinnier and grow my hair out a little longer here. And we'll be doing another movie. There he is. He's back. I was just updates on me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was still on the screen myself, but yeah, what movie are you expanding out into the acting domain now, or what's happening there?
Well, my B-level celebrity gets me in terrible movies all the time. I don't know the name of the next movie. I'll be meeting the producers and directors at the next the film festival down here for the movie Broken Bridges is coming out in Fort Lauderdale next month, and I'm going to. Broken Bridges is a wrestling movie. I don't have much more info on that, but I'm going to go meet them there, and then they wanted to talk to me about a spot in one of their other movies. But they've done some big stuff, so we'll see. If they need a prison guard, we're going to get you down here, Jack.
Oh, I can't. Oh. Here's what Morris said. Ready? Can you read it?
The sequel?
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a lifestyle choice.
Gyllenhaal returns.
Do you find you know, a lot of, we just talked about actors and wrestlers turned actors. Do you find it to be any sort of a natural intersect from wrestling, or do you find it to be a real grind, a different sort of deal?
It's actually not easy to do, to get in front of the camera like that. You would think it'd be nice and easy, but wrestling acting and acting in a movie is totally different. It's different timing. You have to speak slower. You have to use different body language. It's not the same thing. It's fun, but it's a lot longer of a process. You know, it's not just one take and then you're good. You know, we get one take in WWE or anywhere else. You get one take. If you blow it, you blow it. You know, hopefully you don't. With that, you do, 50, 60, 70, 100 of the same damn scene over and over, and they pick the best one from all different angles. So it's a different world, but it is fun. I can see most guys wanting to gravitate toward it.
Morris is expressing immediate regret and saying now he's going to kill you. That's a cost of doing business. Before we close down this edition, I got to get your opinion. You know, Sami Zayn is the hottest guy in the business right now, and we've shown some of his shirts that have been released to date. There's that one that's lighting up WWE shop, but I want to show you a couple of them here and get your opinion on which one you like the best. Here's the basic white with the red. Here comes the Zayn lettering. That's pretty cool. We've got Here Comes the Zayn with a bunch of skulls and flames. That's pretty cool. But I think the best one is the one that incorporates his Here Comes the Zayn, but the Beater of Worlds gimmick. Which one do you like, and will you be going to WWE Shop Zone quickly to grab one?
I will definitely get the Beater of Worlds shirt, but I don't think it comes in. It only comes in a small or a medium for Sami
Extra
Zayn.
Medium,
so he can fit medium, so he can fit in them. I'll never understand.
I'll never understand it too, but you know what? Money talks. He's going to be probably our one of the world heavyweight champions in the year, and we'll all be eating crow. But Mr. Ryder, I want to thank you for making time out of your busy schedule today. It's been a blast as always. If you go to any training facilities for that return to the ring, watch out for the herpes, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Heat Productions. Don't forget to hit the notification button, and you won't miss any of our upcoming interviews, recurring programs, or entertainment products. Thanks again,